Hi everybody, this is Harmony and welcome to my channel, Harmony Stitches. Here we talk about my crafting journey, which usually revolves around cross stitch with some knitting and some crochet thrown in here and there. Okay, so quickie life update to let you know why I'm a week and a bit late from my video. My father-in-law had a pretty big heart attack. We almost lost him, but the doctors were able to save him. But the whole week leading up to the Sunday where I was supposed to film, we were back and forth to the hospital. Like I went to work, went to the hospital, went to work, went to the hospital. On the day I was supposed to film, my husband and I were on hospital duty, and we actually got to bring him home that day. So by the time that he got discharged and everything, there was no time to do a video. And of course, family and emergencies come first. And I'm sure that none of you would disagree or be angry about that. So in my last video, I told you that for May, I was going to do a fun thing where I would spin the wheel, find a whip, and put in 500 stitches. And then once I put in 500 stitches, I'd spin the wheel again and continue on with that. Well, right after I filmed my video, I did kind of stitch away a little bit on Jurassic Park. I got 196 stitches in. And then I kind of got bored with that and I wanted to start this whole spin the wheel thing early. So I believe it was April 26th. I started the wheel, but I have a whole stack here. So let's get started. Okay, so the other day, I think it was Mother's Day actually, I finished the project I was doing, and I spun Winter Tranquility by Twin Creek Primitives. And I was able to get 500-ish stitches done. And when I say 500, I know I got the minimum of 500, but most of the time I'll finish my thread. So sometimes it'll be like 535 or 510, 517, whatever, you know. So I did put in 500 stitches. I worked on this side. Let me fold this a little bit better. I brought the tree and the border up, the tree in the snow. And then I put in the foundation on this side of the house and then all of this part of the house. None of that was there. The foundation on this side, but not on this side. So that took me 500 stitches and I got this done. This is by Twin Creek Primitives. It was a freebie, I believe, on their website. Instead of stitching it on a darker, like tan color, I'm stitching it on a light blue, I believe 14 count, maybe 16 count. This looks more like 16 count. Ada that I found in my stash with the called for DMC conversion. So that was 500 stitches. Then, not then, because I have no idea. This was actually Monday night, I do remember. I spun it. Maybe Sunday night. I don't know, my husband's on vacation, so I didn't have to go to bed right away. I just stayed up a little bit late. But this is Lady Liberty by Kesslins. If I have a picture to show, I will show a picture. I'm working on the blue. And I put in just over 500 stitches. I think maybe actually exactly because my wrist was hurting. For some reason, holding this one in the Q-snap hurts my wrist really bad. And I'm wondering if it's because it's 1/1 and it puts a different kind of pressure on the frame. So I put in 500 stitches. Let's see. I put in this little thing. I put in, no stitches there, but stitches here and then all of this. And I know that it doesn't look like much, but since it's 1/1 on 28 count white Monaco, it was a lot. So that's another 500 stitches. Okay, this one is Liberty Eagle. It seems like several of my July 2022 starts came up. This is by Blackbird. I'm stitching it on a 30 count linen that I had in my stash because it was pretty close. It's a little bit light, but lighter than the model. This actually came up twice. So it has just over 1,000 stitches put in it since last time. Okay, so I'm stitching away, right? First 500, I come up and I finish this red, white, and blue thingy. I finished the border on the top. I finished his head. I only had like 2 rows of his head and I finished the head. Then I come down and I do a little bit of the gray here and I do the leg and part of the pelvic bone. And then the second time it came up, I'm doing the other leg and then I start on the tail. And I'm working on the tail, and I'm like, that doesn't look like enough, because I'm working up toward the feet. That doesn't look like there's room for enough rows there. Sure enough, there's not, because over here on the pattern, right here, I don't know if you can see it, but right here, it's different. It's different. It's 3 rows wider in the little triangle thingy. And when I stitched, that was the very first day that I started it that I made that mistake. And it's the same on the other side, so I'm going to have to do it so that way it matches. But so it's, in the long run, it's not going to make a difference in the body of the eagle. It's just going to make a difference in the tail. It's just going to be 3 rows shorter, and it will be fine. So this is mistake number 1 that I found today after putting, I don't even know how many stitches are in the one side of the wing. Oh my heavens. Okay, this is the Halloween Mystery Sampler. It says Happy Halloween with some stars and moons and a bat. This is on this really cool overdyed Aida, which I told you I thought it was 18 count, but then when I started stitching on it, I'm like, wow, this is more like 22 count. So the stitches are really tiny. I'm doing 2 strands over 1 box of the Aida, and it's nice and poofy and solid, and I'm really liking it. So after 500 stitches, I have a lot of the back completed. Okay, so then the next one I'm going to show you is a pattern by Stitching with the Housewives. I call it the Christmas Tree Farm series, but I don't know what they call it. It's a Dapper Doodad in their Etsy shop. My husband and daughter bought me all 4 of them in the little series. I have one done already. This one was started. I got about maybe 650 stitches in this one when it came up on the wheel. Just because it was so close to being finished, I didn't want to just put it back not finished. It's 28 count black Monaco with the DMC conversion listed on the chart. Okay, so mistake number 2 coming up. This is Alice in Wonderland Sal by Owl Forest Embroidery. I believe it was free when it came out, and I believe it's still free. So you could go get it. I don't even know how many parts are on it. The last time I picked this up, I started part 13, which is the Cheshire Cat, which is what I also worked on this time. So let me get this folded up because I'll show you the whole thing. It's pretty large. I coffee tea dyed this fabric myself. It is a little light, but the B5200 does show up. So I put all 500 stitches in the Cheshire Cat, and he is still not done. Here we go. Okay, so I finished the purple, well, most of the purple. There's a little line under his eyes to like make, like the loop of the bottom of his eyes. And then I have to fill in all of the white and then make his tail. So he's not even done. He's probably has 200 more stitches to go, if that. Like, it's a big tail. But here's my mistake. The last time I worked on this, I started putting in his feet and his rump. I put his back feet in the wrong spot. 1 column of stitches to the left of where they were supposed to be. So this very last zigzag is only 1 stitch wide instead of 2 stitches like this. Okay, here's a good story. First day that we went to the hospital, I spun the wheel 3 times so that way I could take 3 projects because everything else was done. One of the projects that came up was Weimaraner. And if you've been with me and you've come and watched some videos, you know that I've been talking about this for 3 months now, that all I have to do is the back stitching and just get to it already, you lazy bum, and get the back stitching done. Just put your big girl pants on and do it. So it came up, I'm like, oh great, and I felt like I was in the mood, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get the back stitching done while we're at the hospital, while my father-in-law's sleeping or whatever. I had a half a strand of black just laying in here, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna put the 310 in, see how far that gets me, and I'm gonna quit. So I did. I got it all done, used the whole piece of thread, put it away, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, stop it. Just do some more already. So I went to open my Books app. Like, it used to be called iBooks on Apple products, and now it's just called Books. I went to open it, and the file is corrupted. I literally had to open less than 5 minutes before, and everything was fine. I closed it and went to open it back up. It's corrupted. So I have to email the designer and show proof that, hey, I'm stitching it. So I obviously had the pattern. I'm going to give the receipt from when my husband bought it for me as a gift, because he didn't have an account at that point. So he now does, in case he wants to buy me gifts, and we have receipts and stuff. But he didn't have an account. So I have to email and ask if they will send me another copy, because that one got corrupted. I don't know what happened. That's never happened to me before. I have all of my PDF charts on there, and that's never happened. And I'm talking crochet and knit and everything. Everything's in there. But I did put in a half a strand. Where did I go? I did over here. The very edge was done, but I came in and did 2 more rows here. Yeah. Like, it's behind the front leg, and then there's like a fold in the belly. That's what I got done. It's not a ton, but it was the whole thread. So yeah, and I was actually in the mood like, oh yeah, you can do some more. Okay, so, and that's like on a 20 count white Aida that was in my stash. Okay, so I told you at the beginning that I picked away at Jurassic Park, did 196 more stitches before I did this. My stack is sliding off my lap. Before I started the wheel. Well, it came up in the wheel. And so what I decided to do, I need something to hold behind it because it's white. I decided to zero out the gray color. So all of the gray is now done. All of the letters are outlined and ready for the fill-in in the background. So I'll show you what I don't know if you'll be able to see it. This is what it looks like so far. And I went from 70% to 76.8% in one day. Okay, Vintage Animals. This is on 28 count Dove Gray Monaco, which I believe is all gone. You cannot get anymore. I got it from somebody and they are all out even. So 500 stitches on this. Let me remember. Okay. Started a fox. I'll hold it closer in a minute. Started a fox, did a rabbit, started a deer, and I did quite a few letters. I finished the R, Q, O, P, N, and did the T and the U. I'm stitching this one in memory of my grandparents. The second I saw it, I thought of them. The pattern, let me show you the pattern. I didn't even do that. The pattern is stitched on a very pale colored, a neutral, hand dyed, I don't even know what. Whoop, sticky note went flying. It says 36 count legacy linen by Picture This Plus. Well, everybody that stitches, that's been stitching for a while, knows that you're not getting any Picture This Plus anytime soon. So I had picked the blue out because I thought it would go well with the, as a background to the colors chosen. Okay, very first project that came up when I started this on April 26th was Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Y'all know how much I hate this project. There's nothing wrong with the project itself. A lot of people love the project, but I know at least one other person said that they had the same struggles I did, that the color changing is unreal and it is a struggle to get through. My daughter keeps telling me to throw it away, but I did 500 stitches and I got some progress. And if I just work on it when it comes up on the wheel or for some special occasion or something or other, then it will eventually get done. I'm almost done with section 1, but there's also a lot of back stitching. So I'll show you far away and then I'll put something behind it so you can see. I finished the green borders on this doohickey thing. And then I think everything below it, these two pieces and then all the border below it is 500 some stitches. And I did it and I gladly put it away. Oh, you want to see it up close. I'll fold it in half so you can see those stitches. I don't know if you're going to be able to tell the difference in the blue or not. But that's how it is. Like, she uses a couple different colors of blues and purples and golds and greens. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you can't tell the difference. Was this? Okay, this is one of my Whip Go starts for this month. It's Owl on an Egg. And I'm going to be honest and tell you right now, I only got 495 stitches on this. Because I'm doing on this little tiny piece of linen. I'll show you close up. This little tiny piece of 36 count linen, and I didn't like the way that it looked 2 strands over 2. So I'm doing 1 strand over 2, and I wasn't going to start a whole strand for 5 stitches. I have my conversion. I'm going to put this behind it because otherwise you're going to, it'll show right through. So I know that it may not look like 500 stitches, but I counted very carefully, and that is 500 stitches between the border and the owl's body and wings. Okay, this is the second Whip Go. It's Smell My Feet by La Di Da. There's this fabric. I think it's 18 count. It's hand dyed. But I obviously cut it off something, and I can't remember where the other piece went, and I don't know why I got it. So, but the leftover piece that I cut off of something was perfect for this. So that's 500 stitches. So by the time that I get that all done, I think I can do it in 2 sessions of 500 stitches. Okay, this is Happy Fall. This is by Tiana Handmade. She is a Ukrainian designer that sells on Etsy. So when the invasion happened, I went and bought 3 of her patterns, a flag one, this pumpkin one, and another one. I don't even remember. But they're cute watercolor type patterns. She sells other things too, so I would definitely go check her out. Okay, so I finished the word Happy Fall, or the font, Happy Fall. And then I don't know if you can see it, but the pumpkins are outlined in 712. So I started stitching that. And by the time I finished the word happy and yeah, fall was already done. The Y was started. So by the time I finished the word happy and I didn't need very many stitches. So this is just on 18 count oatmeal Aida that I got from like Joann's or something, using the DMC, called for DMC in the pattern. Okay, one more, just one more. And I think that's all of them. Let me check my bag. Yep. Okay, this is a big one though. Not a big project necessarily, but it's big. Because it got called 3 times. Since, what, today's the 16th, so in about 20 days, it called 3 times on the wheel. So I figured the wheel really must want this to be done. Okay, so this is Bittersweet Trio. Let me see if I can find the cover. By Waxing Moon Designs. So I will show you. This is where we are. So the first time I stitched on it, I finished the pumpkin, which was just over 100 stitches, and finished the top part of the squirrel, and I worked on the border. And I haven't put in any bittersweet or any flowers at all. There's a couple big flowers. That would get me some stitches. But then I came over to the next section and worked on border and started putting in a pumpkin and the flowers. So I don't know how, but I've already got 1,200 stitches into this project, and I feel like I still have a ton to go. I have 302 stitches for this round, but even after I get that done, I feel like there's a ton left because of all of the bittersweet and the back stitching. I did realize that I'm missing my light green color. I think it's like 581 or 531 or something like that. I don't know why I don't have it, but I don't have it. So I do have to pick that up, but I'm just trying to find spots where I can go through and get my stitches done so that way I can move on to another project. So, Okay, so I think that's all that I have to talk about today. I hope that you maybe found something to inspire you to pick up a languishing project or maybe to even try something new. And until the next time, I hope that you have a great 2 weeks and I'll see you on Sunday. Bye.